What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Fight Night Bautista versus Oliveira at the Apex, fellas. No numbered event this weekend, but we do have a really good card. And I'm pretty stoked to break this one down. I think there's actually a lot of good fights on this card. Let's jump right into it, fellas. Kicking us off at women's bantamweight, Priscilla Cachoeira taking on Claudia Segula. They have Claudia Segula coming in as a slight favorite. I kind of agree. I think Priscilla Cachoeira is at the tail end of her career for sure. She just got chinned horrifically by Jocelyn Edwards, and as a fighter who relies predominantly on her durability, not a great look for her. Segula's much younger, 10 years younger, over 10 years younger. And Cachoeira really doesn't have any skill set outside of having decent power in the hands, okay hands, and really good durability. This is a really ugly, iffy fight. I don't really know. You could pick whoever here, but I'm going to go with Claudia Segula. I'm just going to trust the younger lady. She's coming off of a win over Irina Alexieva, who, granted, isn't the highest level of competition in the world, but I think Priscilla is just genuinely on the downswing of her career. I'm going to say Claudia Segula probably wins a decision. Moving up to men's bantamweight, Muin Gafurov taking on Jacob Wiklax. This is actually kind of a sick fight. I'm actually looking forward to this one. Pretty much evens here. Muin Gafurov coming off of a big win over Rinya Nakamura, where Nakamura decided to shoot no takedowns and just strike with him. That was actually sick to watch. By sick to watch, I mean it pissed me off watching it. Jacob Wiklax coming off of a huge win in his UFC debut against Patchy Mix. Really tricky fight here. Wiklax, big, long Polish dude, good grappling, very aggressive with his grappling attack, very good jiu-jitsu for Wiklax. He was able to compete very well with Patchy Mix in the grappling, which, you know, say what you want about Patchy Mix as a fighter, his grappling is good. That's his best attribute, and Wiklax was able to compete very well with him and even get good position on occasion. Muin Gafurov, on the other hand, pretty much just a kickboxer, pretty much just a striker, really good power, makes mistakes occasionally and gets himself into tricky spots, but he is pretty solid. Man, this is kind of a tough one. I kind of want to pick Wiklax here, though, just because, you know, I remember Muin Gafurov, this fight against Said Nurmagomedov, immediately stuffing his head into a guillotine choke. I feel like if he makes some stupid mistake like that, Wiklax is good enough from potentially a front choke position to latch that up. I just worry if we get caught on the feet for too long against Muin Gafurov, we could get chinned. This is a tricky one. This really is a 50-50. I think I'm going to go with Jacob Wiklax. God, I can't say Polish last names at all. I like the grappling upside. I think we can keep our range with the kicks against Muin Gafurov, who predominantly gets a lot of his work done with the hands. Muin Gafurov might get a little bit frustrated. He might rush in a little bit too recklessly. He might give himself up. Might give his neck up like he has before. Might get himself choked out. And if Wiklax gets this gets this fight on the ground, I see no reason why he wouldn't be able to advance position and finish Muin Gafurov. I'm going to go with Wiklax here. I'm not super confident in it. I think if we get caught in an extended boxing exchange, we're going to get knocked the fuck out. But we do have a nice reach advantage here to maintain distance, and we do have grappling upside. I'm going to go with Wiklax. Seems like a lot of people agree with me. I don't know if I like that or not. Wiklax decision, people are leaning. I'm going to lean towards the Wiklax submission. I think he can finish Gafurov if he gets a good position on him. Moving up to women's flyweight, Wang Kong taking on Eduarda Mora. This is actually a pretty high level women's fight. Both of these ladies are pretty good. Combined record of 20-2. Pretty solid. Everybody knows Wang Kong, great kickboxer, great striker, beat Shevchenko in a kickboxing match. Eduarda Mora, pretty good in the UFC. She lost to Denise Gomes. Not the worst thing in the world by split decision. Beat Veronica Hardy very easily, and Lauren Murphy pretty easily as well. Wang Kong, her only loss to Gabriela Fernandez, where she got clipped by a head kick, wobbled, and then choked out. But other than that, she's been perfect in the UFC. God, this is a tricky one, huh? Eduarda Mora is a lot more of a grappler. Her striking is a lot more rough. Wang Kong, though, does have good takedown defense. She's a pretty big favorite. I kind of agree. I think Wang Kong here wins this fight. She doesn't have cardio issues. I think Eduardo Mora does have cardio issues as the fight kind of gets extended. I think Wang Kong is just a better striker on the feet, and I think her takedown defense is fine. I think if Wang Kong can get Eduardo Mora backing up, I think she's going to have a lot of problems getting her takedowns. And if she can't get her takedowns, I don't see her winning a kickboxing match against Wang Kong, especially over 3 rounds as the fight gets a little bit deeper. And Eduardo Mora starts to slow down a little bit, like she's shown to do multiple times in her career. I'm going to lean Wang Kong here. I think Mora is able to win this fight if she gets Wang Kong flat on her back. I'm not really too sure about what Wang Kong has in the guard department. I'm not expecting very much. I'm pretty sure if Eduardo Mora gets her down flat on her back, that's probably just the round chalked. I don't really see Wang Kong getting back up to her feet. I don't know. That's just a vibe I get. I haven't really seen it, so I'm just guessing. But I'm going with Wang Kong here. I think she can win a decision here. I also think she might be able to get a finish. Like, hypothetically, Eduardo Mora gasses out pretty bad in, like, the 3rd round. Wang Kong's not going to gas out, I don't think, at all. I think she could get a finish maybe in the 3rd. That'd be, like, a crazy prop, no? Wang Kong round 3. Thoughts? Nobody's picking KO. I'm going to say Wang Kong wins by KO in round 3. Lock it in, bro. Moving up to men's bantamweight. This is another sick fight, guys. Said Nurmagomedov taking on Javid Basharat. Both guys coming off of a couple of losses. Very closely lined fight, dude. Fuck. Oh, my lord. Both Basharat brothers are on this card, which is pretty dope. This is the worst of the Basharat brothers, clearly. Said coming off of 2 losses. One to Bryce Mitchell, one to Vinicius Oliveira, who's main eventing this card right now. Beat Muin Gafurov easy. Jonathan Martinez is really good. And Said Yakub Kurak Ramonov is a motherfucker. I don't know why he's not in the UFC. He's a fucking beast. Javid Basharat coming off of a loss to Ayman Zahabi. Gross. And then Ricky Simon flatline KO'd him a year ago. We predicted that, by the way. Lock in. Mateus Mendoza and Tony Gravely. I kind of want to go with Said Nurmagomedov, low-key. The only problem with Said is we know this. Said Nurmagomedov death gasses in every single fight. He gets very tired every single fight. He does not get on the treadmill. He does not hit the air bike. He gets tired. That first, 7.5 minutes, though, this guy is a motherfucker. He is so dangerous on the feet. Really nasty kicks, nasty spin attacks. He's really, really lethal in the front choke position specifically. He hit Said Yakub. It says guillotine. To my remembrance, I thought it was a ninja choke or something. Subbed Muin Gafurov from the front choke position immediately. Like, if Javid, tries to initiate any type of grappling and gives up his neck, Said Nurmagomedov, he'll latch up that guillotine. And, man, if he gets it, it's curtains. And on the feet, he's very dangerous. Good kicks, good distance management as well. Good knees as well. Javid Basharat, on the other hand, well-rounded. No real deficit to his game. Good grappling, good striking, good on the outside. But not a ton of power or anything. But he is definitely going to be better over 3 rounds. My thinking is, I feel like since this is a guy who likes to maintain distance, and this is a guy who also kind of likes to maintain distance, I think we could see potentially a fight where both of these guys are just kind of circling around each other and it's not a lot of output. And if there's not a lot of output, that means Said Nurmagomedov isn't getting tired. Like, if both guys are kind of outside fighters, kind of point fighting, trying to get one to open up, and nobody's really pushing the grappling, no one's really pushing the pace, that means it's going to lead to Said's only weakness probably not being as big of a factor, if you're understanding what I'm saying. I think maybe, and as far as explosivity, dynamic, power, big moments, I would lean on Said's side, especially because Javid Basharat's coming off of getting flatlined KO'd. How's he going to look after getting chinned bad for the first time? I don't know. He might be even more hesitant. I think I'm going to go with Said as a slight dog here. If it gets into the third round, it's going to be hairy. But I think I can rely on Said Nurmagomedov getting the first 2 rounds here. I think I can rely on him getting the first round, almost certainly. Because I feel like it's going to be largely a feeling out round for Javid, who just got knocked out. I think Said might be the more aggressive guy, even though he's not just going to bull rush him. I think he'll have the bigger strikes because he's just a more powerful, dynamic striker, which would probably lead to him getting the round, hopefully. And in round 2, if it's more of an outside point fighting contest, I really don't see him death gassing that bad. Like, you saw him gas against Bryce Mitchell, but that's because Bryce Mitchell was putting a fucking hellacious grappling pace on him. And Bryce Mitchell ate every single strike Said landed on him. Got hurt really bad, but he just kept coming and kept wrestling and kept grinding. I don't know if Javid's going to do that the same way a Bryce Mitchell would. Vinicius Oliveira, same thing. Like, they just got into a fucking scrap, and Oliveira's a guy who's heavy on the pressure. Javid's not really that heavy on the pressure. And if you're using undisciplined pressure like Muin Gafurov, you'll get yourself subbed in the first round. I'm going to go with Said Nurmagomedov. I think he's going to win a close decision here. Maybe a split decision off the first 2 rounds. I think this fight should be pretty good, though. Moving up to women's strawweight, Bruna Brazil taking on Ketlin Souza. Another decent fight. What's the line on this? Really? Am I picking all underdogs this card? What the fuck is good? Bruna Brazil minus 140. I don't see it. I'm going to go with Ketlin Souza here. Clear, I think. You know, we lost Pierre Rodriguez. I think Pierre Rodriguez is really good, honestly. I think Pierre Rodriguez, low-key beats Bruna Brazil. Am I wrong? No? Angela Hill, really good. And these are both splits. Like, we're getting split decisions to Angela Hill, who's good. Pierre Rodriguez, split decision. Like, there's probably an argument Ketlin Souza could have won these fights. Yasmin Yarigui beat her easy. We're not even going to talk about these. Karine Silva lost to a knee bar. Karine Silva's better than pretty much anybody Bruna Brazil's fought besides Wang Kong. Am I mistaken? Like, is she a minus 140 because she beat Molly McCann and Shauna Banan? I think Ketlin Souza is just better. She's insanely durable. She gives higher level ladies very hard fights. She's got good hands. She's heavy on the pressure. I've seen Bruna Brazil chinned before, which I don't love. Bruna Brazil's pretty good. She kind of struggles off of her back foot sometimes, though. Like, if she's getting pushed back, she's not quite as effective. She has been looking better, though, since joining the Fighting Nerds gym for sure. But I think that weakness is still there. She's got a little bit of a reach advantage. I'm going to go with Ketlin Souza, though. I think she wins this fight. I think this is, honestly, I think Bruna Brazil is a step down from Pierre Rodriguez in all seriousness. And Angela Hill, I think this is a step up. Maybe I'm not seeing something, and maybe it'll become apparent to me in the fight. But I feel like this is a step down, no? I'm going to go with Ketlin Souza. I think she wins the decision here. Nobody's picking her. Really? That's interesting to me. I don't know. Maybe it's unranked women's MMA, man. I am not good at picking and betting unranked women's MMA. But I'm going with Ketlin Souza by decision. I don't know. I think she's good value on an underdog. Moving up to welterweight. This is not the fight I taped, huh? This is not the fight I taped? I'm going to sneeze. Holy shit. Did not tape this fight. Nikolai Veretinnikov taking on Nico Price on very short notice. I'm just going to be candid with you fellas. This is a fight that was made apparently in like the last day, because this is news to me. Nikolai Veretinnikov, decent kickboxer, decent power, cannot wrestle to save his life. Nico Price, pretty washed up. Pretty washed up, man. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not going to give you guys a pick on this fight because I haven't. I can't in good faith. I'm just going to pick Nico Price because it would make me happy if he won. How's that sound? I'm just going to pick Nico Price because it would make me happy. If he wrestles, he'll win. If he wrestles Nikolai Veretinnikov, he'll win. Straight up. Veretinnikov is absolute butt cheeks at wrestling. On the feet, though, I think Veretinnikov has an advantage for sure. but I'm not really going to give you a pick on that. Keeping it at 170, Alex Morono taking on Daniil Danchenko. Big favorite for Daniil Danchenko, and I understand why. Alex Morono, striker. Daniil Danchenko, striker as well. But Daniil Danchenko, much younger guy. I think he's got a lot more to give. He's on a big win streak. He's got all the momentum. And Alex Morono has been getting fucking battered, man. He just walked him down Carlos Leal and chinned him. He's 11 years younger. He's a lot more powerful. He's a very dynamic Muay Thai striker. Great kicks. Good hands, too. Good creativity with elbows. And I think Alex Morono is on his way out, in my opinion. He might be able to give Daniil a hard fight here, maybe. But I don't know. Alex Morono's looks so shit. Like, this Nico Price fight almost 2 years ago was one of the worst fights. One of the worst performances I've ever seen out of a UFC fighter. Alex Morono looks so dog shit in that fight. He gassed so bad. Golly, that fight was horrible. Daniel Rodriguez, honestly, surprisingly close fight. Carlos Leal just killed him. I have to go with Daniil Danchenko here. I think he's a better technical striker. I think he's just as powerful. Alex Morono kind of does have weird pop in his shots, though. If you watch some of his fights back, you'll notice that. But I cannot see Alex Morono beating Daniil Danchenko right now. I just don't see it. Maybe he'll give him a veteran lesson, but I just don't think so. I think the durability of Alex Morono is starting to wane a little bit too, especially after something like this. And Daniil's he's mean, bro. And he's a better striker than Carlos Leal. Like, Carlos Leal's a lot more physicality-based, walk you down, track you down in that cage, and kill you right there. But Daniil Danchenko, he's a little bit more measured. He's a little bit more methodical, I would say. He's probably not quite as physical or as powerful as a Carlos Leal, but I think he's better at picking and finding his shots. And I think he throws more dynamic shots as well that could catch an Alex Morono lacking. I'm going to go with Daniil Danchenko by TKO in, like, round 2. Yeah, seems like a lot of people agree. Moving up to light heavyweight, my man Dustin Jacoby taking on Julius Walker. Okay, Dustin Jacoby coming in at a minus 205 favorite. I do agree here. Now, granted, with Dustin Jacoby, I love Dustin Jacoby. I'm biased. I think he's kind of entering the downswing of his career a little bit. I think his durability's waned a little bit. Granted, he's fought a lot of insane power hitters. If this was like Dustin Jacoby when he fought, what was the one Asian fella's name? I forget his name. Daun Jung. Is that the 205 heavyweight guy that got cut? If it was a Dustin Jacoby who fought like Daun Jung like 5 years ago, he should be like minus 600. Because Julius Walker has not impressed me really in his UFC career thus far. But Dustin Jacoby's got a couple of losses, took a lot of damage against Minifield, got KO'd by Dominic Reyes. But since then, KO'd Vitor Petrino badly. This was a sick fucking knockout. KO'd Bruno Lopez easily. KO'd Kennedy Nzechukwu easily. Julius Walker, on the other hand, man, he lost to Minifield in a split decision, which is a good debut performance because, I mean, Jacoby lost to Minifield. But then this Sequeira fight, man, he did not look good. He got hurt bad by Rafael Sequeira. Took him all 3 rounds. Man, like, Dustin Jacoby would send Rafael Sequeira's head into the fucking nosebleeds in 28 seconds. And if we're I don't know if, because Julius Walker is predominantly a guy who likes to get it done with the grappling. His hands are solid, like his striking's fine. But Dustin Jacoby is a tenured fucking kickboxer, dude. He's been striking forever, and he's got a nice wide stance, and he's hard to grapple, bro. And people forget, man. Dustin Jacoby gave fucking Azamat Mirzakhanov everything he could handle. He almost won that fight at the end of round 3. I believe he broke Mirzakhanov's arm and he was death gassed, and Jacoby was walking him down after taking an insane amount of damage. And that's kind of insane now when you put it into context, because we just saw Mirzakhanov knock out fucking Alexander Rakic with a jab. Dustin Jacoby ate everything he had. He got knocked down a couple of times, but he kept on fighting. He ate bombs off Minifield, too. The only shot that really KO'd him in the UFC was that straight left from fucking Dominic Reyes. And I think Dustin Jacoby got way too overzealous in this fight specifically. Came crashing in, running in too fast, ran into that that classic left hand that Dominic Reyes uses on the back foot. It's a sniper shot. And even that didn't flatline chin him. It took follow-up shots after and a knee to put him down. I don't know if Julius Walker's that guy on the feet, and I don't know if he can get the grappling going. Because Dustin Jacoby, I mean, a lot of guys just want to take his ass down in his career, and he's got a lot of fights, man. And on the feet, he's dangerous. If you're not on the level, bro, a lot of these guys get chinned in round one. I'm going with my dog Dustin Jacoby here. I think he's going to chin Julius Walker. If you're not finishing Sequeira, I have no reason to expect you to finish Jacoby. Granted, styles make fights, but this guy is a guy waiting to get knocked out in round one or finished in round one. And we took him all 3 rounds and got hurt by him. I got to go with Dustin here, man. Yeah, a lot of people seem to agree. I'm going with Dustin Jacoby by TKO. Moving up to bantamweight, Gene Matsumoto taking on Farid Basharat. This is a sick fight, high-level fight here. Jeez, man. Basharat opened up as a pretty big favorite here. I kind of agree. I think Farid Basharat has one distinct advantage in this matchup over Gene Matsumoto, and it's his ability to grapple and keep Gene Matsumoto on the ground. We've seen Gene Matsumoto taken down a few times and held down in moments. You know, Dan Argueta held him down for a while before getting submitted. Miles Johns got takedowns on him. Arguably should have beat Rob Font as somebody who picked and bet on Rob Font. He probably should have beat Rob Font in the split decision. But Farid Basharat's a real tricky guy. He's better than his brother on the feet. I think he's better than his brother in the grappling. I think he can get takedowns on Gene Matsumoto. I think he can take the path of least resistance. He's a very smart fighter, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to get caught in a complete kickboxing war against Gene Matsumoto, because I think that's where Gene has advantages. I think he's more powerful. I think he's a better striker, especially in the pocket. He's very dangerous. He's insanely durable, Gene Matsumoto, and he will push hard all 3 rounds. Like, watch this Brad Katana fight, man. He was pushing hard. But I think he can stifle Farid. I'm talking about the momentum of Matsumoto by just getting a takedown in. And he can break up his flow, and I think he can keep him down there for a while at a time. Because I think Farid's probably the best wrestler for MMA that Gene Matsumoto has fought. And even in his last fight, which is only 5 months ago, he's still able to be taken down, right? I think Farid can win minutes, which will lead to Farid winning rounds in this fight. I think the striking is going to be very close. Gene Matsumoto is difficult to hold down, but I like Farid's level of grappling. Like, when we look at some of these fights, you know, Damon Blackshear's a good win. Clayton Rodriguez instantly finished him. Taylor Lapulus is a hard guy to beat, dude. He's a very difficult guy to beat. Victor Hugo's a hard guy to beat. Chris Gutierrez. I mean, and the thing is, Farid Basharat didn't even grapple with Chris Gutierrez. Not really. He pretty much just kickboxed with him and still won. And then who else did he beat that I thought was good? He has another win. Fuck. I'm drawing a blank here. Whatever. I think Farid Basharat wins this fight by decision. I think it's going to be a close decision. I think it's going to be a hard fight for both guys. I think Gene Matsumoto is going to get taken down. I think he's going to fight his way back up. He's going to land shots in the feet, but Farid's going to land shots too. He's pretty good on the outside. But I'm going to lean Farid Basharat. I think it's going to be like a 29-28 decision and a closely contested fight. Seems like a lot of people agree with that. Moving up to middleweight, Mikhail Oleksiejczuk taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. I'm expecting Mikhail to be a big favorite. Big enough. Yeah, I'm going with Mikhail Oleksiejczuk here. I think he's going to chin Marc-Andre Barriault more often than not. I just think Marc-Andre Barriault's durability is slowing down a little bit. Granted, he went to a decision with Shara Bullet, but, like, you know, he's been TKO'd a lot here lately. Beat Bruno Silva, but Bruno Silva, I think, was checked out emotionally at the latter end of his career. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, on the other hand, since joining the Fighting Nerds, has 2 back-to-back round 1 TKOs. And Marc-Andre Barriault's a guy who's going to offer his head up on a platter. But I think Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, he's a better boxer. He's better at picking and finding his shots. I think he's got more power. The only concern would be this fight getting extended and Oleksiejczuk gassing, which could happen. But But I think more often than not, he just goes out here and chins Marc-Andre Barriault. And I think his cardio is only going to be better since training with the Fighting Nerds gym. I'm going with Mikhail Oliveira here by TKO. Ooh, moving up to heavyweight. This is a good fight. Jailton Almeida taking on Rizvan Kuniev. Jailton Almeida, only a -145, huh, for Jailton? That's the lowest I've ever seen this guy. Well, actually, was he no, he was a bigger favorite against Volkov, right? We picked Volkov, by the way. I think we got a little blessing from God with that Volkov win. But honestly, fuck Almeida for that boring-ass shit. No damage-ass, bum, half-guard camping merchant. And then Kuniev. Should have probably beat Curtis Blades, man, in his debut, which is crazy. Do I trust Kuniev to keep this fight on the feet? No, not really. I don't think anybody can keep the fight on the feet against Jailton Almeida. I really don't. Oh, God. I can so see just, like, Kuniev landing one shot on Almeida and him just collapsing and, like, curling up in a ball. I could just so see it, bro. But I can also see Jailton Almeida kind of being a little bit more aggressive to finish here in this fight if he gets Kuniev down, because he's probably pissed about this decision not going this way. I think Almeida might have a chip on his shoulder, and I think he might come out here with a different kind of aggression than we're used to seeing. Now, if he does that and he's on the feet, he might get himself chinned, because Kuniev is dangerous on the feet. Big, powerful hooks coming at you fast. And he's a big, strong guy. However, if he gets him on the mat, I would expect Almeida to kind of really go all out for a finish here. A lot of people leaning Almeida decision. I don't see it. I think this fight's going to end inside the distance. I don't think this goes all 3 rounds. Something's telling me that it's under 2.5 angle for me for sure. He really did almost beat Curtis Blades. This is a really tricky one. I mean, I see this as a 50-50 fight, but I think I have not seen a fight yet in Jailton Almeida's career where he doesn't at least take the guy down once. And I think if he gets Kuniev down, Kuniev's a fat guy, all right? And Jailton Almeida has a pretty good track record of when he gets a fat guy down, they don't get back up. Except for Derek Lewis, where it took him 5 rounds to finish Derek Lewis. I'm going to go with Jailton Almeida as a slight favorite. And I think he's going to win this fight by submission. I think he's going to win inside the distance. I think he's going to have a bad taste in his mouth from this Volkov fight. I think he's going to be like, I can't leave this up to the judges. I need to go out here and get a finish and make my claim for the belt, for the title shot. I think he might go out here and try and finish Kuniev. It might get him finished. This is a very close fight. Kuniev is dangerous. He's got decent grappling, decent enough, but I don't know if it's good enough for Jailton Almeida's wrestling. And he's got great hands. But I'm going to go with Almeida here, I think. By submission. Moving up to the co-main event, holy banger. Amir Albazi returning to take on my fucking GOAT, Kyoji Horiguchi. Wow, that line is surprising. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Okay, so, like, this is what I'm talking about with line overcorrection sometimes. 2 months ago, Kyoji Horiguchi's plus 200 to Tagir Ulanbekov, which we picked him to win. Of course we did. We know ball. These guys see the V that this guy's last name ends in, and they think he's going to beat my GOAT Kyoji Horiguchi. They just don't know. They don't know ball. But he was plus 200 against Tagir. Now he's minus 350 against fucking Amir Albazi. That's fucking nuts, no? That's a little bit crazy. But yeah, Kyoji Horiguchi, Ryzen champ, Bellator champ. If you include this win against Tagir, 8-1 in the UFC. His only loss coming to Demetrius Johnson in round 5. Kyoji Horiguchi's the fucking GOAT, man. Amir Albazi, coming off of a bad loss to Brandon Moreno where he was very compromised, which I did not realize until after the fact. But he said he was very injured in this fight and he got like surgeries and shit like that, which I don't love. It's a long layoff for him. And Amir Albazi's been a guy who's pulled out of fights, gotten hurt, had surgeries. I believe he had heart problems or something like that at one point. Like, poor Amir has been through the fucking ringer with health issues, seriously. So I worry about his shape coming into this fight. He took a lot of damage against Brandon Moreno. And if he's rusty at all, even a little bit, this is a 3-round fight. If you're a little bit slow, if your reaction's a little bit slow, you're not quite in your flow against Kyoji Horiguchi, who's probably one of, if not the fastest guy on the feet in this division, one of the most tenured guys in this division. I mean, like, Amir Albazi is a guy with solid boxing. He's got good enough cardio for 5 rounds. He's got exceptional wrestling. He can take the back quite well. I don't think there's anything in Amir Albazi's game, though, that Kyoji Horiguchi has not been in the cage with in his 40-fight career. My only concern with Horiguchi is that he's a little bit chinny. That's my only concern. A little bit chinny. But, you know, that happens when you're in 40 fucking cage fights against some of the best fighters ever. He's a little bit older, but it looks like he hasn't lost his step. If you watch this fight against Tagir Ulanbekov, it was an absolute masterclass, zero diff destruction of Tagir Ulanbekov on the feet, in the grappling. He just destroyed him. He had that wide karate stance, in and out, good low kick, good high kick. Everything was flowing for him. And Kyoji Horiguchi, he's staying active. This was 2 months ago. Amir Albazi hasn't fought in over a year. If he's coming out here rusty and he's not quite, like, I think the speed is honestly going to be tough for Albazi. Because when we look at this, he should have lost to Kai Kara-France here. Alessandro Costa, that's a good win he had in this fight. And then we're just looking, I mean, Zalga Zumagulov, I guess. Like, we're looking at okay fights, but Kyoji Horiguchi's been in there against literally your grandma, your grandpa, everybody in your extended family. Like, this guy's fought everybody. And I think on the feet, I think Horiguchi's going to be a step above him. I think Amir Albazi, a guy who predominantly gets his work done with his boxing, I think he's going to have a hard time tracking down Horiguchi on the feet. Horiguchi's very fast. He's very in and out. His kicks are very dynamic. He gets him up there like that. Now, he will exchange in the pocket. Now, this would be somewhere where Amir could have success in a pocket exchange, because Amir does have power. He has good shot placement. And Horiguchi's chin, I think, is a little bit suspect at times. But, I mean, that's kind of like fucking... That's just kind of praying, you know, for, like, the absolute best case scenario. I think Albazi could have success in the grappling, for sure. But I think, like, Horiguchi, like I said, the way he moves, the way he circles, how fast he is, he's a hard guy to get a shot on. Amir Albazi is going to need to take the shots from Horiguchi, get him up against the cage, and then work a takedown from there. Because out in space, Horiguchi is going to be nearly impossible to take down. Or at least in my head, I think he would be. I'm going to go with Kyoji Horiguchi here, man. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to win it by decision. I think he's going to just be on the outside, land his shots on Albazi. Albazi's going to swing big, try and land with the boxing. I think he's probably going to end up missing, though. He could land a big shot and hurt Horiguchi, or he could get him to the mat and have some success there. But Horiguchi's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got good grappling. I trust him to not get immediately finished on the mat. And on the feet, I think he's just better. I think he's better on the feet. I think Albazi's got the durability there, but I think Horiguchi is just better. I'm going with Kyoji Horiguchi by decision. Maybe 29-28. Maybe Amir picks up a round where he gets some control, or maybe he wobbles Horiguchi and then takes him down and gets some control, gets himself around. But I trust the skill set of Horiguchi, especially more than I trust Amir Albazi at this point with all of his health issues and stuff. I hope he comes into this fight healthy, but I can't trust him to do that. You know what I mean? A lot of people picking Horiguchi decision. I agree. And I hope he wins, because if Horiguchi wins this fight, honestly, he could argue for like a #1 contenders fight or a title shot, because like there's a huge logjam right now at the top end of flyweight, because a lot of guys have like lost to Pantoja, and Pantoja's probably going to end up fighting Van in a rematch. So Kyoji, or dude, like, give me for #1 contender spot, maybe give me Horiguchi versus like Taira. Wouldn't that be fucking sick in Japan? Like a big UFC Japan main event. That would sell a bajillion seats, no? And closing out the card at bantamweight with our main event, Mario Bautista taking on Vinicius Oliveira. Sick fight. But I'm pretty confident in this one. I'm going with Mario Bautista here over Vinicius Oliveira. Mario Bautista, he's coming off a pretty good performance against Umar Nurmagomedov, and outside of that, he's on a pretty good win streak. Vinicius Oliveira, though, won his last 5 in a row. Kyler Phillips, Said Nurmagomedov, Ricky Simon, Bernardo Sopai. Pretty good 4-fight win streak in the UFC for Vinicius Oliveira. My only concern is this is Vinicius Oliveira's first 5-round fight in the UFC, and I've seen this guy gas out pretty much in every fight, besides like the Ricky Simon fight, which is actually pretty surprising. But he's gassed out pretty substantially. He's very dangerous. He's very powerful on the feet. He throws very recklessly, though. And he can be knocked out. All 3 of his losses come by knockout. He's been chinned. And Mario Bautista is a guy who I think has infinite cardio. This guy's pace, this guy's pressure is second to none in this division, honestly. Second to Marab. But outside of that, like he's got a great pace on him. I mean, he was putting the pace on Umar. Umar was fucking sucking air, and this was in a 3-round fight. And Umar's conditioned as fuck. The only way I see Vinicius Oliveira winning this fight, honestly, is by TKO. I don't see him submitting Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista's got some pretty legit grappling, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. Got solid, more technical, I would say, striking on the feet than Oliveira, except Oliveira's a more effective striker. Where I think Mario Bautista is, you see him throw like a 1-2 and it looks better. Oliveira is a more effective striker in the fact that if he hits you with that 1-2, you're going to forget where the fuck you are. But I like Mario Bautista over 5 rounds. I think if he can weather that storm in the first couple from Oliveira here, in like rounds 1 or 2, maybe even 3, I think Mario Bautista could come on really strong in 4 and 5. I really trust this guy's conditioning. And I don't trust Oliveira's. I think Mario Bautista can also have some success in the grappling. Like if you look at his UFC debut, Bernardo Sopai on short notice was holding him down very easily. A lot of people only remember this knockout, but Bernardo Sopai was holding him down a lot of this fight. He really had nothing off of his back. Granted, in his next fight, Ricky Simon couldn't fight. Ricky Simon couldn't hold him down at all. Said Nurmagomedov, good scrap, and Kyler Phillips. Really hideous fight. Hideous technique in this fight, and he death gassed bad. I can't trust him here. I cannot trust him to go out there and finish Mario Bautista. Because Mario Bautista's a tough guy to finish. I think he's built for all 5 rounds. I think he's a main event type fighter. And, Mario Bautista, he's beating guys like Jose Aldo. Patchy Mix beat him easily. Beat Ricky Simon. A better version of Ricky Simon, I think, as well. Beat Damon Blackshear, who's pretty mid on the feet, but got really good grappling. I think this is Mario Bautista's fight to win here. I think he needs to win this fight. I think this is his fight to win. I trust him over 5. I think this fight... I honestly think Mario Bautista could maybe get a finish here in like late rounds 4 and 5, depending on how Oliveira looks. Because if he looks like he looked like shit in the 3rd round of this Kyler Phillips fight. If he starts looking like that in the 3rd round of this fight... If it makes it there, of course, because Oliveira is dangerous. He's got a lot of finishes. But I trust Bautista to keep himself safe for the most part. If he starts looking like he did against Kyler Phillips late in this fight, and he has 2 more rounds after that, I can see Mario Bautista finishing him on the feet. Because Oliveira is not that durable, man. He's not that durable. He's been KO'd 3 times, and he's only lost 3 times. So maybe like Mario Bautista around 4 or 5 TKO angle? Nobody's picking Bautista TKO. I'm going to pick Mario Bautista by TKO in like late round 4, maybe even round 5. It's kind of a weird prediction, but I can kind of see it. I think if not, I think Mario Bautista probably wins the decision like 48-47 because I could see Oliveira picking up a couple of rounds early for sure. But I'm trusting in Mario Bautista, man. He's given me no reason to doubt him, and he looked great against Umar, who's borderline the number 1 contender in this division right now. So yeah, I'm going with Mario Bautista here in this matchup. Should be a sick card though, guys. There's a lot of great fights on this card. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it a bunch. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.